Penn Badgley reveals chilling connection between You and Gossip Girl sets. It's all so familiar. For fans of Gossip Girl and You, the connection between Dan Humphrey and Joe Goldberg may have just gotten eerily real, and not in the way you'd expect.
Penn Badgley, who stars in both shows as very different characters, recently revealed that the filming locations of these two iconic series are more closely linked than anyone imagined. During an exclusive set tour with Architectural Digest, the 38-year-old actor took fans behind the scenes of You's notorious bookstore basement, known to viewers as The Cage, Joe Goldberg's ominous holding cell for his victims. But instead of focusing solely on his twisted You character, Penn dropped a bombshell about the set's history. The very stage that now houses Joe's sinister lair once belonged to the opulent penthouse of Gossip Girl's Blair Waldorf. A little bit of an interesting note, Badgley said while standing in the dimly lit cage. This is where we shot Gossip Girl. This is the same stage where the Waldorf suites were located. It's surreal. Yes, the very same space that once held glitzy soirees, designer dresses, and scheming Upper East Siders is now the home of You's darkest scenes. Talk about a dramatic transformation. A full-circle moment for Penn Badgley. It turns out this wasn't the only surprise waiting on the You set. Penn also revealed that the loft belonging to his Gossip Girl character, Dan Humphrey, aka Lonely Boy, was filmed on the very same stage that now features You's fictional bookstore, Möbius. The stage with the bookstore was where the Humphrey loft was, he shared, so this place is extremely familiar to me. For Badgley, the overlapping spaces represent more than just a quirky Hollywood coincidence. They mark a unique, almost full-circle moment in his 2-decade-long career. Standing on the same ground where he played both an aspiring Brooklyn writer and a literary-obsessed stalker-turned-murderer is a deeply surreal experience for the actor. I was just standing outside looking at the trees, he reflected, and I thought, I've been looking at these trees for nearly 20 years now. Then I asked myself, have they grown? He laughed, adding, so that's just a little window into my brain. A tale of two characters, Dan Humphrey versus Joe Goldberg. Though both Gossip Girl and You share sound stages, the worlds they depict couldn't be more different. Gossip Girl, which premiered in 2007, followed the lives of wealthy New York teens navigating love, drama, and betrayal with the help or hindrance of an anonymous blogger. Dan Humphrey, portrayed by Badgley, was an outsider who eventually revealed himself to be the titular Gossip Girl. Meanwhile, You, which debuted on Lifetime in 2018 before finding international success on Netflix, presents a far more sinister tale. Joe Goldberg is a dangerously obsessive man who uses charm, intellect, and manipulation to stalk and eliminate people who stand in his way. Over 5 seasons, Joe evolved from creepy bookstore clerk to globe-trotting serial killer, hiding behind the veneer of romance and self-justification. Though vastly different, the two characters share eerie parallels. Both are writers, both are deeply introspective, and both live double lives that force viewers to constantly question their morality. It's funny how both shows explore identity and perception, Badgley noted, but while Dan was misunderstood, Joe is truly dangerous. It's not lost on me how ironic it is that their stories were filmed in the same place. Reflecting on the end of You, Penn also touched on the series finale of You, which aired April 24, 2025. As one of Netflix's most talked-about psychological thrillers, the show's conclusion sparked widespread debate. While some fans hoped for redemption, others wanted justice, or even death, for Joe Goldberg. For Badgley, closure came not from fan satisfaction, but from moral finality. It's doing everything that could possibly be done in a satisfying manner, he told Entertainment Weekly. I think he's delivered to his truly appropriate end. Then the only thing left is to realize there is no ending that could satisfy everyone 100%. Badgley emphasized that You was never meant to glorify Joe's actions. Instead, the show sought to make viewers reflect on how easily we rationalize charm, intelligence, and trauma as excuses for violence. If you were to think of this as a real man with real victims, the only thing that can truly heal and satisfy is time, as long as justice has been served. Moving on, but never far from the spotlight, now that you has concluded, Badgley is taking time to reflect on his career and the strange, coincidental overlap between two of his most iconic roles. The physical set may have changed, but the memories and character journeys are forever etched into the space and into his legacy. "I'll probably never look at that stage the same way again," he said. "There's something poetic about revisiting the same places, playing such vastly different people. It's like a time capsule of who I was and who I've become as
an actor. As fans say goodbye to Joe Goldberg and remember the legacy of Dan Humphrey, they can now appreciate the fact that both characters, so different in nature yet so pivotal in pop culture, were born and evolved under the same studio. Lights,